You all know that there are big players on the chart, that they manipulate the market. You even know how to spot these manipulations on the chart, mostly thanks to the smart money concept. But are you sure it's really them, the big guys? After all, that's just a graphical abstraction, like a head and shoulders pattern or a triangle. So let's figure out where we can actually look for the real big player and his dirty tricks. Let's go. As you know, the volume shown on the bottom chart is total. They take all the buy volume, all the sell volume, add them up, and plot that number on the chart. Is this useful info? Overall, yeah, but its utility is still limited. Obviously, the color of this volume bar doesn't tell you who dominated the candle, buyers or sellers. Every platform colors it based on the price candle's color, and honestly, I see zero value in that. That's why I keep all volume bars the same color. Less distraction, more clarity. Alright, let's imagine we could have two separate volume bars, one for buyers and one for sellers. What would we represent? They'd show the volume of market orders executed during that candle's formation. One bar for buys and one for sells. And those bars, they're just numbers, right? Now let's subtract one from the other, sellers from buyers. Uh, Simple school math. If the number is positive, more buying happen in the market. If it's negative, more selling. That number is called volume delta. Lock it in, remember it. Let's keep going. Now let's recall that market buyers are mostly TikTok traders, meaning the masses, the retail crowd. I covered this in my last video, go check it out by the way. So volume delta tells us who dominated among TikTok traders within that candle, buyers or sellers, not in terms of hit count, but in terms of volume. Now let's take this number we got as the volume delta and turn it into a candle. If the number is positive, we'll make it green. If negative, red. And here I want to draw your attention to the fact that all these candles have the same total volume. In this example, it is 170. But just look at how different the actual market environment and the balance of buyers and sellers are in each of them. And now let's compare our delta candle with the price candle. Did the crowd and the price move in sync? Let's check some real examples. A first case, price and delta moved in the same direction. What does this mean? It means that most likely there were no significant manipulation during this candle. The price moved organically in sync with the sentiment of the masses. We could even cautiously assume that it was driven by these masses. The second case, the price didn't move or moved a little, but the masses moved or moved strongly. What does this mean? It means that a situation has developed in the market where the masses have a very strong bias. In this case, it's a long bias. They may have heard some news or seen a pattern on the chart, emotions, logic, technical analysis, the smart money concept, retrograde Mercury, any reasons. This could be either organic or artificially created, if you know what I mean. In short, TikTok traders are massively opening longs and closing shorts. And all of this is done with market orders. These market orders fill up a large density of limit orders. As a result, there's no significant price movement. In fact, it looks like nothing happening at all. But we know whose limit orders are there. Spoiler, we remember that from the previous video, and that someone managed to sell quite a lot through their limit orders to the TikTok traders who were so convinced about going long. Third case, the price made a significant move, but retail stands still. Actually, this is not a simple situation. We need to check whether there was any volume on this candle at all. If there wasn't, this means that the masses didn't believe in this move. In this market situation, there is no retail buyer. Of course, the reasons could be various. But for example, one of them might be marketing efforts of limit orders holders who are expecting liquidity from the masses but haven't convinced them. How the manipulators will behave next and how retail will react, I'll leave for you to imagine. Also, think about the reasons behind the masses' distrust. Let's consider this your homework. If there was volume on the candle, then we have a situation where retail is in balance, but the price moved up. Sellers ran into a wall of limit orders, while buyers did not. We can confidently assume that the retail crowd filled a large number of someone's buy limit orders. I wonder whose. Fourth case. The price is moving in one direction while retail is moving in the opposite. This is actually the most powerful situation. Just imagine there's a huge volume of pressure on the order book from market buyers, but the price doesn't go in the direction of this pressure. It actually moves the opposite direction. And this is truly incredible. What's going on? How is this possible? But this happens quite often. Interesting, isn't it? The truth is simple. Aggressive comprehensive marketing have pressed down on the psychology of the masses, and someone with perfect timing loaded their big long position from the TikTok traders at that moment. And the funniest part is that the chart may look completely calm and peaceful. A normal trader might not even realize that what's really happening on the market is a huge deception, crossed out, a routine whale special operation. Conclusions. There are candles in which, by looking at the delta of volume and price movement, we can understand that a large buyer or seller has shown their presence in one way or another. Let's call them buyer candles or seller candles. Yes, you might be wondering, how do we identify such candles? After all, TradingView or exchanges don't give you volume data separately. And how do we calculate the delta? Answer: such services do exist. But I won't be promoting them. You can find them yourself. Or you can wait for my future posts. In them, I will introduce you to some ways to identify such candles without third party services. Also, in the future, I'll explain how to work with what you've just learned. Hit subscribe. And for now, congratulations. You're a few steps closer to uncovering the true market conspiracy theory.